Next session is by Dr. Yogesh Waikar, a pediatric gastroenterologist and hepatologist doctor by profession. Being guided by consciousness of Sri Aurobindo and others who have worked on self earlier, he continued the work started in this evolution. Yoga Mudra is the book of revelatory notes published by Sakshi is one of the representation of work on itself. Now I request Dr. Yogesh Waikar ji to come to the dais to present the paper.
The noon, the Savitri is blessing us. Veda and Nirukta or Nirukta, one which cannot be spoken. So Veda and Nirukta, these two words we need to understand. Many authors have just said they are apaurushaya. They are revelatory. So what is a revelation? While coming to this ashram, on the way, someone must have felt, okay, I will need to go on that side. So this is intuition. Without someone telling. The highest level of intuition is revelation. I purposefully use the word interpretations. Nirukta is the interpretation of the revelation in Veda. So we need to discriminate between Veda and Nirukta. Veda are revelatory, Nirukta is interpretative. Nirukta is written by Yaskacharya. And why all of us are assembled here? To understand this Nirukta. Why was the need to have Nirukta? So any revelatory word which comes to the aspiring consciousness within self are Shrutis. Revelations are Shrutis. You think I am going to study, I am going to aspire. This is Agni. And your aspirations go on purifying itself to a level that you are revealed with the thought process. So these are Shrutis. So one need to raise one's consciousness to the highest plane to understand Shrutis. One need to remove our planar attachments, our desires, to understand, to cognize, to metacognize Shruti, which are Veda. So here I am trying to use Nirukta as a fulcrum, as a snare, to understand these revelations. Both words are very important. So what is the journey of a word? How word has formed? How revelations comes to the Vedic Rishis? They are spontaneous, the way I am right now, para. They go to the representation, further interpretations, then the cognitive analysis is done by the lower mind to form Nirukta. So we are dealing with the two different end of the spectrums. The spontaneous revelations on the word side and the interpretations of the revelation by Yaska on the other side. Both are equally important, but Yaska's approach is slightly difficult rather than the approach which should be spontaneous. So what is the traditional approach? It is not some rocket science. It is not going to Chandrayaan 3. It is something within ourselves. Why we are not able to understand it? Why we need books? Why we need this conference? Because we are ignorant. The biggest problem is we do not accept our ignorance. Once we accept the ignorance, spontaneously you will be directed by you within yourself. So, unfortunately, that state needs to come, but it comes either spontaneously very early or late. The traditional way of understanding Vedas are by mental snaring. I want to know the meaning of this word. Ritualistic meaning, how this yajna functions. In part understanding, I understood some part of it, some part I have a faith that it exists. Exoteric meaning, Shabdartha. Yesterday we know what Westerners did to us. Shabdartha, Bhavartha, Mantrartha, Jnanartha. Leave all four. Be what you are. And this is Veda. So how come we go ahead? We have to understand, if we want to understand spontaneous revelatory meaning of Veda, we need to understand the interpretative meaning of Nirukta. The Nirukta is a commentary on Nigantu. We need to understand it. So Nirukta is a work done by Yaska on beforehand available Nigantus. Nigantus are the guides to understand Veda. So what things are involved while Yaska has written that Nirukta? His own level of consciousness, the level of consciousness to which he has matured, his mental abilities to express, and the prevalent collective consciousness, Gu, Maha, collective consciousness, individual consciousness, both come together to express in the form of a Shabda. So all these things were the base of writing Nirukta. We need to understand what Yaska did, what was his understanding at that particular point of time. So while writing Nirukta, Yaska must have seen many Nigantus. Okay, this is one Nigantu, this is second Nigantu, this is third Nigantu, written by some different acharyas, having some differences. So he noted there are variations in Nigantu. There are different commentaries, various Vashakara, Tikakaras. And why it must have happened? We need to ask ourselves why it must have happened. Commentaries have derived their own meaning depending on the development of the author's consciousness. For you, the Veda is different. For he, the Veda is different. For a 5-year-old, the Veda is different. It does not depend on the age, by the way. It depends on your work you have done on yourself. It has no relation with age. So, different commentators have different level of consciousness matured, and they have seen the spontaneous words and they tried to interpret in a different fashion. Therefore, there were differences. So, I have just told you the Yaska's work, how he thought, and whilst writing down Nirukta, he must have understood there are variations. So, what I see now, there is a difference between Nigantu authors and the Vedic rishis. One is the spontaneous meaning of the Vedic word, and second is the interpretive meaning of the Vedic word. So consciousness-based approach is by Vedic rishis. The differential state between the highest level of the consciousness of the Vedic rishis and somehow interpretative level of consciousness of Nigantu authors made the difference that yes, Nigantu is needed, because we are on not that level of the higher consciousness to understand the word spontaneously. So that was the difference which we realized. In fact, if you say there is no need of Nirukta, I can make this bold statement. There is no need of Nigantu. So, we all know what is Para, what is Pashyanti, what is Madhyama, what is Vaikari. So these are the spontaneous languages or shabdas getting expressed from Muladhara to Sahasradhala. What I speak from my Kanta is a Vaikari. Right? It depends on my elevated or developed level of the consciousness. But there is something within me, Sri Aurobindo's consciousness, Mother's consciousness, which is directing that Para. So I need to align my Vaikari with the Para while I am speaking, which I am doing right now. So, there is absolutely no need of etymology, no need of philology, no need of linguistics if we understand Para. When one knows the state of consciousness and the plane in which the Vedic word is revealed, there is no need to define its meaning. When one is in that state, it is such spontaneous. Ma, The way you word ma, amma, you don't need to understand, you don't need to define that meaning, but you need to be that at that level. The word spoken in revelation is the outcome of the sequential interaction of the consciousness within self. There are many interactions happening within me, and at that one particular point of time, if I am surrendered and pure, the revelations would come to me from higher plane to lower plane to express myself. So here I am speaking of something called as planes. One plane, many planes. Bhu, Bhu, Swa, Maha, Jana, Tapa, Satyam. At one given time of time, these are the 7 planes which I am interacting with you. So on one planar, intellectual planar approach, Swa plane. Collective planar approach, different plane. So Vedic word has the same meaning at all planes, but unfortunately we are at a different plane and try to mentally snare with the help of undeveloped, partially developed or completely developed consciousness to pull that meaning of the word. The consciousness expressing the same word in different planes within self is always constant. Again, very important. In Nirukta, there is one word with different meanings and there are different words with same meanings. Yaska has done that wonderfully. But Yaska need to know that if you know Yaska would have developed the consciousness to the extent, there was no need for one word with different meanings. It has to be only one word and one meaning. But as the word develops and progresses forward, expressed through Vaikari, there are contaminations happening. Unfortunately, we are stuck at Vaikari. We do not go to Madhyama, Pashyanti and Para. Therefore, we do not understand how things are expressing. And we understand the same word in a different fashion. Unfortunately, Western scholars have done the same thing. Bhashartha. Just understanding word meaning synonym. This is not what Veda is. Veda is revelation within you. Understand the revelatory words of Veda within yourself rather than snaring it out from some books. So, multiplanar congruence is done by Vedic rishis. Dirghatamasa, Vasishita, Vishwamitra. In whatever there was there in Para was there at the Vaikari. But uniplanar expression is there which I found by Nighantu and Nirukta authors. Only at one particular partially developed plane they are expressing the meaning of that word. The word is mentally analyzed and worked on the lower plane can be perfectly right or imperfectly right or incompletely right or completely wrong. The same word can have these 4 repercussions if the development of the consciousness of the Nirukta author and the Nighantu author has not developed to the extent of revelatory para-consciousness. Such kind of conference should give a stimulus. Why I am stuck at Vaikari? Why I am entangled in the mass of the mental confabulations within myself? Why I can't open? So these are the opportunities given to us. It depends on the level of the consciousness of the person who is working on it. I need to understand from which level of consciousness I am analyzing this word. So here we are differentiating between the para expression and the Vaikari expression of the Vedic word. Nirukta authors sometimes reaches that para expression and sometimes they are entangled in the Vaikari expressions. Para expression of the word is congruent with the Vaikari expression for the one with the one evolved state of consciousness. One who is completely evolved, for him para and Vaikari are same. But the differences between the para and Vaikari remains for a person who is evolving in the state of consciousness. So para is a spontaneous consciousness based on true meaning. They are acting appropriately on all planes. They are universal. They are truth. While Vaikari is the derived meaning. Certain rules and laws are needed to understand them. Okay, read this Vyakarana, this kind of way of reading, this kind of pratishakyam to understand the meaning of the word. They need those rules. Because it is based on lower planar consciousness according to Sri Aurobindo. And they are very selective in applications. So what we need to do is we want to take this journey of understanding the Vedas from Vaikari to Para. So consciousness evolution, consciousness maturity, or in words of Sri Aurobindo, supragnostification of the self is what is needed. The need to express the dictionary, thesis, lexicon is the ladder placed by the lower consciousness to levitate the self. Why there is a need of Nirukta? Why there is a need of dictionary? Why there is a need of lexicon? Because it is a ladder. It is not that it is useless. The work done by Yaska is equally important because it is a ladder for ourselves to levitate the consciousness. The work done by Shri Arvinda Mother, Madhusudan Ojaji, Ramnathanji, Chinmayananda Swami, all these are our ladders. Don't keep them like worshipping them. They are within you. They are within you in one particular level of consciousness. Use those consciousness and levitate self. Your soul is much more evolved than the soul of Vasishta and Vishwamitra. This is the expression which is happening, the mother says. One uses partly evolved consciousness as the fulcrum here. So there are commentaries on Nirukta. As there were commentaries on Nigantu, there were commentaries on Nirukta, different Bhashyakaras. Ugra, Skanda Swami, Durgacharya. Why? The same reason. Commentaries are the analysis of Nirukta depending on the development of author's consciousness. See, Upanishads are very well known to be misinterpreted, misguided, twisted and analyzed and said that, okay, this is my school of thought. Unfortunately, this has happened in India. Because we have been so much bogged down by the pureness of the Vedic thought, we do not understand the entanglement of the various mesh created by different sampradayas. We try to differentiate between Vaishnava, Shaivite. Why? This is all one. Right? So all these are important. All these commentaries are important. These commentaries by all of them is important, but they are the ladders. They are not the complete truth. What is a better commentary? It should have stood the test of time. It should have amount of space to add variants and the critical notes lower down. Okay, this word may have this additional meaning. It gives room for the working consciousness later. Suppose after 50 years, someone is reading my book Yoga Mudra, it should give a space for that person after 50 years to further work on the work done by me. What we are doing the same. What we are working, what we are doing, Sri Aurobindo has made a beautiful platform. R.L. Kashyap ji has made a beautiful platform. We have to work. There is no point in gossiping and moving about and having unnecessarily entangled into the thought, entangled in the mental confabulations where we do not understand a single word and meaning. We are just enjoying the nature. No. We are here for sincere self-introspection and work on self. Because of these great learned fellows, we can do it. There is also difference in Nirukta. There is one shorter recension, one longer recension. There is no need to differentiate between those two recensions according to me. Because they are totally relevant only from mental understanding and temporal condition. मैं पहला पैदा हुआ कि तू पहला पैदा हुआ. It's of no use. There is no need, there is no age barrier. Even a 6-year-old child may have a more evolved consciousness rather than having a 90-year-old child. So each consciousness is respectable. Mental approach to understand Nirukta would always be incomplete and would always give rise to these differences. Different commentaries on the same Rigved Bhashya, Tara Bhashya, this Bhashya, this Bhashya, this Bhashya. Because of authors' levels of understanding of their developed consciousness is that much to understand it. Why can't we develop ourselves to the extent of Para, to have the spontaneous understanding? We can do that. The platform is set, the train is here, we are not ready. Oh, I love you, how come I send you? It's too far journey, how can I be here? Like, we should need to do it. Which manuscript is correct? Whose commentary needs to be considered? Which recension is perfect? What are these? These are the questions from evolving consciousness. They are required. Ego is required first. Ego needs to be left. Then ego needs to be reused. So these are the questions from the evolving consciousness. For the evolved soul, there is no such questions. One evolves completely to the higher state of the consciousness. One realizes the origin, expression, true meaning of the word and its application in reference to context in the different plane. A word in Yajna would be used as differently like this, and in Brahmana it would be used as this, in Samhita it would be used like this. This is spontaneous for a person who is in evolved state of consciousness. The same word can have different meaning depending on the level in which it is expressed and used for the evolving consciousness. We can use the Vedic word appropriately in the consciousness graded manner to the perfection. We can use those words. And all abilities within you, we just are ignorant about it. There are similarities. When I am speaking of Nirukta of Yaska, there are similarities between Nirukta and Aitareya Brahmana, Nirukta and Rigved Pratishakya, Nirukta and Bruhat Devata, Nirukta and Ashtadhyayi. Why? Why there are similarities? The consciousness expressing manuscript can be similar in different works because all those authors' consciousness are at the same level. If you are thinking about it, if I am thinking about it, there are 10 more people who are already in the collective consciousness elevated to the extent that they are also now thinking about it. So these similarities come. This does not mean Aitareya Brahmana is earlier, therefore it is much better. Nirukta is later, therefore it is less better. It doesn't mean that. It means the author of Nirukta has reached the level of the consciousness of the expressive Aitareya Brahmana. Philology and linguistics. My good friend Dr. Nagendra is going to speak on it. I will not speak, but I will just tell you there are two kinds of things. Yaska reaches the true meaning of the Vedic word spontaneously due to the aligned consciousness. He called this as a direct meaning of the word, Gaun. Yaska feels need to analyze the Vedic word using his lower mental consciousness. This he called as an indirect or occult meaning. The reason behind this is one can define the Vedic word with lower consciousness and construct the principles. See, I am developing this campus. So there is a principle. No one is allowed after 9 p.m. These laws are created for its interpretation for the smooth running of the campus. The same is done by the Yaska. These are the few rules. I think many of you must have been gone through Nirukta. I will not go in depths. But these rules are made by Yaska himself in his Nirukta. And how to understand the Vedic word, let's not go in depths. What are the advantages and disadvantages of these rules and laws? Advantages are useful at the start. For a beginner, rules are required. No one should come to campus after 9 p.m. This is needed. Disadvantages? It restricts the self-consciousness to the lower mental plane within us. The beauty of the world, the nature's beauty after 9 p.m. we can't express, we can't feel, we can't realize, we are attached because there is a rule. So rule is required earlier. It doesn't mean we should break the rules, but guidelines and rules are required. But with the evolved state of consciousness, the rules becomes restrictive to understand that Vedic word. It leads to development of exceptions. Yaska himself tells there are exceptions to my rules. Because of the lower planar consciousness. The laws or principles are just few of the fulcrums used to understand the Vedic word in very limited sense. So, I would just try to summarize mental approach and a consciousness-based approach. Unfortunately, most of the Bhashyakaras and Tikakaras are restricted somehow to mental approach. Suvaha plane, not the Satyam plane. Nirvana place is placed, moksha got, and they all said everything work has been done. The moksha is the first step to start working in this life. Mental approach is limited, unipolar, exoteric and non-holistic. It is mostly I see in Yaska and his commentaries. Consciousness-based approach is complete, universal, truth, depending on the rightful state in which it is applied, the work done by Sri Aurobindo. And even in Yaska at places, I would be wrong if I say Yaska has not used that para-consciousness of him. Every one of us does. See, the ego becomes strong when we say it will happen, it has happened, now I am big. No. When we say what will happen, that will happen, it means my consciousness is aligned with the surrounding consciousness, therefore I was right. So it made not me big, it made me understand that my consciousness is at that level. But at some levels, we fall in our consciousness and we make wrong decisions in life. We make wrong attachments in our life and we get attached. Baddhata. Bhuhu plane, you are attached. My world, my family. Bhuva plane, my fashions, my vital. Suva planes, my intellect, my book. I published a book called as Yogamudra. It is important. Why? This is again a baddhata, an intellectual attachment. We have to leave this if we want to understand my bhashya, my tika. Leave this. You will not understand Vedas. They are revealed to those who are open. Mother says one word, surrender. Surrender to right force within you, child. I will work through you. But I will say, no, ma, I need to see that patient first. I have endoscopy to do. I have some serious patients that are, while doing endoscopy, their consciousness in that level and consciousness while I am speaking should be the same. That should be the work of expertise. So equivalence in Tattva Brahma and Shabda Brahma. Every Vedic word has a Tattva Brahma associated with it. Equivalence between Para and Vaikari. Equivalence between exoteric and esoteric. Equivalence between uniplanar and multiplanar is the need of ours. I would give you some sentences verbatim from Sri Aurobindo. Veda is the received name of the highest spiritual truth of which human mind is capable. Means every person here can understand it. Vedic words are the revealed Shrutis to the working consciousness to the Vedic rishis. Veda depicts the journey of working soul within self. It is not what I am doing outside, it is what I am doing inside that counts much more. Spontaneously outsides get expressed. Vedic words are equivalent to various forces recognized by the evolving consciousness within self. So all this is not happening in book, no holy scriptures. They are within you. Inner yajna. What is Agnihotra? What is Agnyadhana? What is Darsha Purnamasi Yajna? What is Chaturmasi Yajna? I tried to elaborate it in the book Yoga Mudra. Ability to know self and work on self is Agnyadhana, aspiration. Daily understanding the Kundalini activation and the Soma expression. Agnihotra, daily you are doing. Darsha Purnamasa, daily you are understanding how things are interrelated and your form of it is Darsha Purnamas. Every 4 months you are doing it in different forms using different forces is Chaturmas. Ayanatnya. So all these are very much within ourselves. How we are able to go from Para to Vaikari and how the equivalence would be established. So this inner yajna is nothing but the outer rituals. These are all Sri Aurobindo's expression. These are nothing but the interactions within self. With yajna, developing consciousness levitates self to the highest plane. These planes are recognized as a ladder in the step of self-transformations. Vedic gods are described as non-human power or energy which work on these interactions. Agni becomes Hotra. You are developing the aspirational power within you in Rigveda to the extent that aspirational power is making you work. So it is a God which is working for your consciousness. Each force or form is representative of the specific consciousness. So consciousness-based approach is very important. And skip something. What he importantly tells in Veda, the words are less fixed, fluid, vague, richly subtle, non-crystallized powers ready to be comprehended by the evolved consciousness on that plane. Only a Sri Aurobindo can write this. He is using so many antagonistic words. Less fixed, fluid, richly subtle, non-crystallized powers. But for whom? For an evolving state of consciousness. But for a higher evolved state of consciousness, he uses all of these things. You must have seen while you are starting in your career, you are using the way the system it should be used, and now you are handling the same system in a different fashion in much more maturity. Vishnu sir was basically earlier must have started with difficulties. Now he is an expert in handling all of these things. So we need to use Vedic word as fulcrum. Again, I am coming to very important time in Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is a Smriti, it's not a Shruti. It is the interpretation of the Shruti by Shri Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita, Vedosi Samoham. Where am I in Ved? Samaved. 17th Agrahana within self. Vishnu plane. But he even says in Bhagavad Gita, I use Veda as the fulcrum. It is used, these Vedic words are used to stimulate energies within cells, to help in transition of human working soul from state of unevolved consciousness, which is death. Attachment causes pain, attachment causes suffering, attachment causes death. What attachment? Attachment to my knowledge, attachment to my eyes, attachment to my hands, attachment to my voice. This ultimately causes suffering, pain and death. What is Vedic words dealing with us? They are the energies which are stimulating our transformation from state of death to the state of highest possible supragrostic consciousness to the human mind. So, which we call as immortality. So various yajna are there. I decide to do Ajnadana. Aspiration to know myself. Every one of you are doing right now Ajnadana. I want to know myself. What is Veda within myself? This is Ajnadana. This starts the process of ascent. Ascent goes from Muladhar. Tvam Muladhar Sitosi Nityam. Ganesha's Murti is there outside the door if everyone has seen it. Why Ganesha is first? Given importance in every ritual, in every work, in every expression. Because it Muladhar Sitosi Nityam. I am there always. In the lowermost inconscient, subconscient and physical mind, I am there. From there we invoke, this goes ahead further as a Kundalini activation, and the descent of the supraglostic consciousness come, which is Soma. Agni Soma Maya Jagata. This interaction which is happening leads to development of the different forces which are Agni, Vayu, Indra, Vishnu, Shiva. All these are the representations of these different interactions which are happening within you. Indra is not something God outside. Indra is within you. Agni is not something outside. Agni is within you. Vayu is not something outside. Vayu is within you. So these interactions are happening. So ascent corresponds with the descent, and various yajnas are now recognized in the ascent. Very beautifully in Shatapada Brahmana, Yajnavalkya has worked. And various parts, okay, in this part, this yajna is done so that your consciousness get uplifted from this state to this stage. So you have done, there is a sequence in which we need to follow it. Ajnadana, Agnihotra, Darsha Purnamasa, Chaturmasa. You can't directly jump on to the higher level. You will fall on your head. Okay, you need to go in steps. The Yoga Mudra book gives you the detailed revelatory notes on Shataputra Brahmana. Various yajnas are also there in descent, pravargya. So all these things are there, we need to understand it. So what I am trying to tell you is, Veda are not something outside, they are within self. This is the development of consciousness from Agni, the pure aspiration. Indra, understanding that Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu. This is Indra consciousness. In Rudra today it was going Namaka and Chamaka. Chame is the Chamaka in Rudra, which comes in Shukla Yajurveda and even in Krishna Yajurveda. So every god, every energy is being called, and it has been since Chame, Indra Chame. What means, what is happening? Every energy needs to be harmonized. So Indra consciousness, you elevate yourself to the 17th plane, 70 to 21st plane within yourself is the Vishnu consciousness, and then you go to the Prajapati consciousness. So I will not go in depths. This is all there in Yoga Mudra book, how one can reveal the planes within ourselves. So what are the few forces? Yesterday we just understood some of them. Agni is the ascending force within us. Brahmanaspati is the Ganapati, Muladhara. Maruta, I told Vishnu he is a Maruta. This is the ascending force. I want to know myself. Inner vital force of self-expression. They are the vital powers. They are also called as child of Rudra. Varuna is the planar expressive form. It doesn't mean if I am at the supragosmic state, it doesn't mean my physical state is not important. मैं कैसा भी रहूँ, मैं डायबिटिक हूँ, हाइपरटेंसिव हूँ, मुझे ये भी प्रॉब्लम है, वो भी प्रॉब्लम है, और मैं लेकिन निर्वाण पे हूँ, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Part of your consciousness is not matured enough to the extent that you are not harmonized within self. What is Mother? Maheshwari, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati. The consciousness at the highest plane trying to express is the Maheshwari. The unrequired things within you are getting cleared by Mahakali. The harmonizing forces within you are the Mahalakshmi. The expression of the Vak is the Mahasaraswati. This is Mother. So that expression is defined by energy which is called as Varunam. Mitra is the harmonizing force, is always go with Mahalakshmi. Vayu is the all-pervading medium in which we are working. So, once you understand all these Lakshmis, Saraswatis are not outside to be worshipped, they are within yourself to be known, understood, analyzed, and then revealed how things are working. As these are in the ascent, there are some energies which are working in the descent. Soma is the force of descent. It is not some plant. It is used as a plant for what? For some representative purpose. See, the level of consciousness at Sanhita got degraded at the level of the Brahmana. So Brahmana time needed, how can I use the principles in Sanhita in Brahmana so that the entire mankind can get benefited. So Brahmana got contaminated and over the point of not understood. So contemplations were done in the forest, led to development of Aranyaka. So Aranyaka are forgotten, led to development of the gist, which is Upanishads. So the descending force within you are this: Ashvina, Ribu, Vaja, Bhaga. If you not go in depths, there been, if you are interested, you can go through the book of Yoga Mudra. All these things are being explained, and Secrets of Veda is a very wonderful book. Records of Yoga must read. Sri Aurobindo has been so much, he has done such a beautiful work. Madhusudan Ojaji from Rajasthan, such a beautiful work. A.S. Ramanathan from Tamil Nadu, such a beautiful work. Dayananda Saraswati. They have realized the true meaning of the Vedas. They are not holy scriptures or Bhashakaras or Titakaras. They are not restricted there. They are trying to know all these things within self. So I will not go. The Indra is within you. Vishnu is within you. Your Agni and Soma interactions are stabilized by Vishnu. Sometimes you aspire, I want this. This is aspiration, the Agni power within you. But you are not getting results because you are too attached. You are too attached to one particular plane. So Agni and Soma is the result of your work, which is not in your hand. So Agni Soma interactions at different planes within you are being stabilized by God, which is called as Vishnu. It predominantly works at the 17th plane. Then comes Surya. I started this expression at 12 o'clock noon. It is the power of the Savitri which works through me. Surya is the passive form, Savitri is the expressive form, Purusha is there, Prakriti expresses. Shiva is a Maheshwari and a Maheshwara. Without both, it cannot be expressed. Agni, Shoma, all a Stri and a Purusha Bhava has to be there combined to express the world. Pushana force, it is an increaser. As I said, Veda are the revelatory words. There are revelatory visuals also. And Vedic Rishis has given them a name, which is called as Ila. There is something which is intuition. Why I need to do this? Why I need to come to Bangalore and then come to Swarnamukhi Ashram and then need to give this letter? This is intuition given to me. Intuition is the lowermost form of revelation. Each one of us need to understand this sixth sense within self, and then work on it. Dakshina. So that intuition is force in Veda is called as Sarama. Where there is negative energy, don't go. I am going towards positivity. This is what is required. And mind well, even this positivity, once we need to live. Tamasika live, Rajasika live, good in Satvika live. Vina nirgunasta pradnya. Live? No. Even nirguna do not live. Use that nirgun stabilized consciousness, express through satvik, rajasika and tamasik wherever is required. It is not just ahimsa which is important. Wherever required ahimsa, hinsa. This is being defined in our consciousness by Sarama and Dakshinam. So it's very beautiful. Bhu, bhuva, swaha, mahajana, tapa, satyam, tatsaviturvarenyam, bhargo devasya dhimahi, dhiyo yo na prachodhyat. Let all my planes within self be recognized and elevated and harmonized to the extent that the highest force of consciousness expressed through it. Unfortunately, many people have stayed at Satya, Nirvana, Moksha. No. Sri Aurobindo says you have to use it again and express all these powers within yourself. There are lower down planes also. We should not go in depth. Each plane is a one-day workshop. Each plane. What is Maha? What are the forces? What are the energies interacting? When we know, then we can understand. So there are two oceans according to Vedas. One is in the highest supragnostic, one is the lowermost. And these are the Vedic rivers. They are also called as Hita in Shatapada Brahmana. You go by southern part, you go by northern part of my transmigration. No. These Hitas are the developing source of consciousness. If I am in this Janma expressing, I am worked to the extent. Okay, for this I decide whether I may rest in peace. I decide I have to work on myself. Choice is always yours. Because you are Brahma. You are the expression of the Shiva. You are the expression of the supragnostic consciousness. I see Sri Aurobindo in you. I see the mother in you. You are the Purusha. You are the Prakriti. How much you develop yourself, it depends on your level of consciousness. So these are hitas. They are called as Vedic rivers. What is Usha? The intuition getting now, Usha is the beautiful samaya of understanding the world. This Usha is nothing but the Vedic dawn. From darkness to the light. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. The first step of understanding self, and you are having the drops of nectar coming in your consciousness, not realized by artificial intelligence or any kind of machine. This is the power of Usha. Vedic night, the dark consciousness, the ignorance, I don't know who I am I. Vedic Surya, Vedic day is the complete 12th noon. Why it is important? There is no darkness within you at 12th noon. So there are enemies also, the attachments. While the ascent and the descent, there is a Dasyu, there is a Vruta, there is Shushna, there is Namuchi, there is Vala, there is Panis. I will not go in depth, the meanings are there. Sri Aurobindo has done a so beautiful work to explain us the meaning. Beautifully he has scripted. He has made my work so easy. I am really thankful to you. Last slide, with 4 minutes to spare. Once the consciousness behind the Vedic word is revealed to us, interactions are recognized spontaneously. There is no need of any conference. There is no need of any lecture. There is no need of Vakta. There is no need of Shrota. One who can dissect all of these forces within self, know the all energies within you, and work on self, on these interactions, Sri Aurobindo call, that person is called as Vipra. Vipra. Nirukta helps us in basic understanding of Vedic word. Yes, it is important, but it is premature, I say. Yes, Yaska's work is very important, but it is the first step. We need to know ourselves. We don't need someone. I am a pediatric gastroenterologist by profession. If the child is born and he has some trouble, he will go spontaneously to his mother. He doesn't need to be taught, or conference doesn't need to be taken. Okay, when there is a problem, come to your mother. It doesn't need conference. It is spontaneous. But the only thing is we have to stop getting attached to various bhashakaras, various tikakaras, various expressions. With all due respect, the greatest work done by them. Without Shankaracharya, it not have been possible. Without Chinmayananda, it not have been possible. Without Sri Aurobindo and Mother, it not have been possible. And after me also many would come. Would say without Yogesh, it would not have been possible. But that doesn't mean I get attached to the work which I do. That doesn't mean I should get attached to work, whatever work I do. If I am a best of the Gruhini, if I made best of the Parotas, if I make best of the 30 Ildes, I should be working in that consciousness while working. The consciousness-based approach of the Vedic words leads us directly to the true meaning represented by them. I think we all are working. Either we know it or we don't know it. This is a book. It's available, I think. There is a separate chapter on Nirukta in Yoga Mudra. Anandamai, Chaitanyamai, Satyamai, Parame,